Good evening. I'd like to call to order the August 18th meeting of the Johnston County Board of Commissioners and welcome each of you here. It's good to see so many people on a Monday evening. As is customary for us, we will open with an invocation and the pledge. I've called on Commissioner Rose to lead us in the invocation, and Commissioner Godwin will lead us in the pledge. So if you choose so, please stand for the invocation.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gift of this beautiful day and for the blessings of living in such a wonderful county. We are grateful for the dedicated staff who serve faithfully and for the strong community we are privileged to represent. We ask for your guidance and wisdom in the decisions we make here today, that they may be in the best interest of all of our citizens. Grant us clarity, unity, and compassion as we work together to keep our county a place of growth, opportunity, and kindness. Bless this meeting, those present here, and all who call this county home. Amen.
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 You would face the flag. Present arms. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Be seated. I did fail to mention in my introduction just a reminder of the board's 6 priorities. They are educational funding, infrastructure, financial stewardship, land use, public safety, and our county employees. With that, we will move on to the first item on the agenda, which is approval of tonight's agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that we approve the agenda with the exception of item number 3, the visit from Miss North Carolina teen Kate Ward would be moved to September 15th agenda.
second the motion with that change.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the agenda with the one change, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The agenda is approved. We have 5 items on the consent agenda. They are the approval of the July 21st, 10 o'clock and 6 o'clock board minutes. We have, in addition to the DOT system, we also have a request to receive NC Emergency Management Fiscal Year 24 Capacity Building Competitive Grant in the amount of $200,000. That will purchase a generator and an automatic transfer switch. And JCATS, if you notice, the grant's $200,000, the amount that will be spent is $250,000, and JCATS will pick up the additional $50,000 on that. The Board of Election, there's a request to approve the purchase of voting equipment. And then we have budget revisions for the Finance Department in $9.9 million. And I'll let you read that information on there. For those, you can see that. I think is that on the screen too for those watching?
Yeah.
All right, great. We also have the library has a $19,000 budget revision. The Sheriff's Department $7,000. Social Services $11,000, and Tourism has $150,000 to move funds for the town of Smithfield Reserves. So, any item on there that needs to be withdrawn for further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I move to be approved as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor of approval of the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The consent agenda is approved. Next, that brings us to public comments. And we have a couple of folks who had requested to speak on that, and I will call Miss Ellie Henderson, representing Johnston County Youth Voice at the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners Conference, which is this week, by the way. Yeah.
We're coming in close.
Yeah.
Good evening. We are so excited to be here. My name is Meredith Wood. For those that don't know me, one of the 4-H agents here in Johnston County. And with me tonight, I have the privilege of bringing Ellie Henderson with me to introduce her to you all. She is very excited for the opportunity this weekend, like you said, to go and be with other 4-H'ers from across the state, learn more about county government, and hopefully get to meet with some of you at the event. So I know that Ellie has prepared a little something for you this evening, and we are so glad that she has been a part of our 4-H program, and it has truly been an honor to watch her learn and grow. And she has several more years with us, so I'm going to let her speak.
My name is Ellie Henderson. I'm 14 years old, and I'm the Youth Voice Delegate for Johnston County. Johnston County has impacted my life in so many different ways and has let me do like the most amazing opportunities. Like I've realized my absolute love for cows and how I love having my own chickens, and I've learned so much from the Poultry Pack, which is a poultry club that I've been in for a couple years now. Absolutely amazing opportunities with Miss Mary Fossvent, and I've learned so much from like Mr. Dan Wells, who runs the Dairy Heifer Project. And that has been so much fun. Like a friend of mine who's in the Dairy Heifer Project got to show at the State Fair, excuse me. And I've also got to do cow camp with NC State, and that has been so much fun. I've done that for the past 2 years, and I've gotten to show in various different shows, and it's been so fun. And I realized my love for doing all of that. And I just want to thank Miss Meredith Woods and Miss Kana, because you guys have done so much for me, and I've learned so much from you guys, and I look forward to speaking with you all at Youth Voice. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll see you Saturday morning.
Yeah, her excitement is contagious. I love that.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, you've learned the enthusiasm part pretty well from Meredith and Nicole.
She's done lots of public speaking and getting more comfortable with that.
Yeah, it's been really fun. I've done DAD for the past 2 years now, and I've gone to state both years, which has been so fun. I love doing public speaking.
Well, you did a great job.
Very
Yes,
good.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
Good job.
Congratulations, Ellie.
Yes. Thank you, Ellie.
Do we want to
Thank you, Mary.
Absolutely.
Yeah, oh yeah, picture. Yeah, let's do that.
Push this out, boy.
Come here, Kayla.
I was about to say, can you
You get in it. Let's get back.
You're a 4-H agent too.
You might as well get Brian in there too if we're going to get people over here. There's nothing wrong with bald heads. It's all right.
I said that as I looked up.
Sounds like an HR violation.
They are here.
Let me grab one real quick. There's two pretty hits in there.
One more. Yeah, one more.
One more,
Yeah,
okay.
One more.
One more.
One, two. All right, thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Great job.
All right. Next, we have Miss Bonnie White.
A little bit of a hard act to follow.
It is, it is.
Well, first and foremost, my name is Bonnie White. I am the CEO for Johnston County Association of Realtors, and I thank you for allowing me the time to speak today. On behalf of Johnston County Association of Realtors, thank you for your continued commitment to hearing community feedback as you weigh both the proposed system development fees and stormwater regulations. Our concern is not with the principle that growth should pay for growth, but with the speed and manner in which these proposed changes will impact Johnston County families who live here now. From nearly doubled system development fees to increased BUA requirements, each measure adds thousands of dollars to the cost of a new home. In practice, this creates a serious affordability challenge. When today's homes sell without these added costs, they set the comparable values appraisers use. If new homes are suddenly priced thousands of dollars higher, appraisals may not be able to support the increase. Families who have already chosen a home can find themselves unable to secure financing, forced to walk away and lose not only the home, but also hard-earned dollars in due diligence fees, earnest money, inspections, lender fees, and appraisals. This comes at a time when Johnston County is already in a housing deficit. As confirmed by the Bowen Housing Analysis, which we provided for you on the meeting on August 4th, the 10 a.m. meeting, housing inventory in our county is at a crisis level, low, and we cannot meet the natural growth for our own children and those born and raised in Johnston County, let alone the newcomers. Our aging residents are also unable to downsize due to high costs, keeping what would be affordable existing homes out of reach for young families. And our teachers, first responders, and healthcare workers, the very people who make Johnston County thrive, are increasingly priced out of the community they serve. More often than not, you now hear of the teachers, first responders, and those who maintain our community are forced to live in surrounding counties because, simply put, they cannot afford to live in the county in which they invest so much of their time. It's also important to remember that real estate is one of the largest economic drivers in communities. In North Carolina, real estate contributes billions in revenue annually, not only from the purchase of homes, but also through the ripple effect of new households bringing business to local shops, service providers, and small business owners. A strong, affordable housing market doesn't just benefit families. It benefits and sustains the economic vitality of an entire community. If affordability continues to erode, demand will not vanish. It will simply cross county lines. Johnston County will still bear the burden of maintaining roads and providing emergency services for commuting residents, but without capturing the tax base that supports those costs. That is why we respectfully ask the commissioners to extend the phase-in period for system development fees and to carefully reconsider how stormwater thresholds are implemented. Those costs cannot be absorbed by HOAs, which are legally restricted from raising dues so excessively, meaning once gain, the cost will fall directly on those individual families. And that is not feasible for your average Johnston County household. I want to be very clear. We are not here today pushing for unchecked growth, nor are we here to defend the bottom line of builders and realtors. I am here as somebody deeply invested in this community. Someone who wants to ensure our teachers, first responders, healthcare workers, and everyday families can afford to live here. I want my own son to have a chance to build a future in the community that he grew up in and that he loves. I want Johnston County to remain a place where families of all income levels can build stability and generational wealth. I thank you for your thoughtful leadership and for working towards balanced solutions that protect both our infrastructure and the dream of home ownership in Johnston County. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we have Josh Holloman, who is our Deputy Director of Emergency Services, and he's coming forward, because I know he doesn't want to do this for himself, but Josh was elected chairman of the North Carolina Association of EMS Administration. So just another example, I think we talked at our last meeting about Johnston County employees leading efforts across the state. So this is another example of that. So Josh, congratulations.
Great job.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. I just would like to say I was elected chairman of the North Carolina Association of EMS Administrators, and privileged to lead that group throughout the state, but I'm honored to represent Johnston County. And our EMS system specifically is looked at as a model all across the state. And I always say we can't do it without the support that's right here in the room. So just want to really extend our appreciation to that, and really appreciate everything you do to help us have the system that we have. It absolutely has an impact on our citizens. So thank you.
Great.
I do want to share the spotlight a little bit. I'd like to call up Sandy Wood and Brenda Allen. Johnston County, we have a community of servants, so they also serve very important roles with the Emergency Management Association. So Sandy, again, is our Emergency Management Coordinator, and she serves the State EM Association. Currently, as the first vice president, but is president-elect, and in October will assume those presidential roles there. So again, representing us across the state. And also Brenda Allen serves as the secretary for that Emergency Management Association. So just want to extend appreciation to these folks as well.
All
Yep,
right.
thank you.
Thank you. I'll just say, echo what Josh said. We couldn't do that without your support to be able to train and collaborate with our peers across the state. So thank you so much, and to the leadership for allowing us those opportunities. We'll represent you well. We'll do our
Oh,
best.
sure that.
Make us
Yeah,
proud.
you already do. Thank
There's
you.
no doubt. We're proud of you.
Yeah.
Thank you for all you do. Great job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else wishing to speak on an item that is not on the agenda? All right, we will move on, Madam Clerk. No emails? Okay. All right, we will then move on to the next item, which is Partnership for Children and Read to Grow Attendance Awareness Month proclamation. And Vice Chairman Harris will read the proclamation once you get through providing us the information. So,
Great. First, before I begin, I just want to thank all of you for the fabulous work that you do on the Board of Commissioners. And just like what everybody else said, we couldn't do this without you guys spending your time and taking care of the county. I also want to thank those who have volunteered for Read to Grow events and invite you all to volunteer at future events. Butch and I were just at a Pause for Reading event with all of our grandchildren, so.
yes.
I
That
wanna-
alone was a large number, but yeah.
Exactly. I want to thank you for allowing Read to Grow Johnson County to address you all tonight on behalf of the Read to Grow Attendance Action Team to ask you to proclaim September as Attendance Awareness Month. This team focuses on chronic absent rates in our elementary schools and ways we can help families ensure that their children attend school regularly. Chronic absenteeism is defined as missing 2 days per month, either excused or unexcused. The start of the school year sets the tone for student attendance for the whole year. It's during these first months that students develop the positive connections and relationships to peers and teachers that are essential to engagement, attendance, and successful learning. Students who are in class regularly have an opportunity to learn the concepts that lay the foundation for understanding what is taught as the year progresses. And showing up every day in those early weeks and months helps students, especially those in the very early grades, establish regular routines that support on-time attendance for the remainder of the year. In order to stress the importance of attending school regularly at the beginning of the school year, Read to Grow Attendance Team sends home with each student an Attendance Matters flyer. You all have received a copy of one of them for one of the schools. Each flyer has their own school mascot, their own school name, definition of chronic absence, time school doors open, the time their school doors, their start and end, and their checkout policy to be counted as present. 82% of parents that we have surveyed said that this flyer has made a difference ensuring their children attend school regularly. So in support of September as Attendance Awareness Month, Read to Grow is sponsoring its 4th annual poster contest. Read to Grow Johnson County is calling all elementary school students, kindergarten through grade 5, to create a unique poster highlighting why attendance matters, including charter schools and homeschooled students. Winning posters will be shared on Read to Grow's social media and printed for display at the artist's home school. Each winner will also receive a gift pack full of items to help reinforce school attendance. Posters will be judged on how well they adjust the theme, the quality of the design, and the student creativity. Read to Grow is a county-wide initiative with special priority being given to 4 target schools, which currently have been Benson, Selma, South, and West Smithfield. At the end of the school year, before the 3rd grade reading exams take place, we helped our target schools with attendance incentives to include a bounce house, parent gift cards, student prizes, a dance party, and ice cream. This was done to improve the school climate, energize students to attend regularly at the end of the year, and reward parents and children for their improved attendance near the end of the year. Thanks to our summer intern, Kaden McLam, who is a junior from Princeton High School, who designed this, we've provided you a copy of the 2025 end-of-year incentives for our target schools and their completed attendance goals. Also, I've given you some data from our 4 target schools in regards to chronic absenteeism this year, which is going down since COVID has happened. But anyway, I just want to thank you all for your support. We couldn't do this without you.
Could you take a second, I know we don't have the stuff to put up on the screen, but, and go over some of those
Sure.
numbers? Some of them are, the progress is great, but the numbers are
Sure.
kind of make you
So
think.
chronic absence, remember, is for students who are missing 2 or more days a month. And so this is just from our target schools, and you can see one column is 2023 to 24, and the other column is 24 to 25. So Benson started out 29.84. That percentage of children were chronically absent at that school, and it's now down to 17.07. So they've made a huge kind of like decrease, which is a good thing, of kids being chronically absent. Selma had a percentage of 27.27 kids being chronically absent, and they have slashed theirs down to 22.37%. South Smithfield was 31.71 percentage for kids being chronically absent. That is been slashed at 24.95. West Smithfield, they had 32.9 kids chronically absent, and then this past year they slashed it down to 30.59 children are chronically absent.
All right, yeah, thank you. So it's good to see that progress.
Right.
Were you able to identify any common reasons for the absenteeism?
You know, we did, we talked with about 100 parents last year, and a lot of the reasons were kids missing the bus. There was nobody else that had a car at home. The person with the car was probably gone to work. Not enough gas money. I had a grandmother who was raising her granddaughter say that she had to siphon gasoline out of her lawnmower to put gas in her car to go to work. Parents' working schedules. They might have to pick their kids up early if they had to go to work earlier in the evening, things like that.
Sounds like a common theme was transportation.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, if it's all right with you, our colleague, Ms. Stevens, is going to read this one, and since the partnership has two, I'll do the second one, if that's all right.
All right.
To the proclamation of September 2025 as Attendance Awareness Month. Whereas the nation is experiencing a school absenteeism crisis, making good attendance more essential than ever to student well-being, achievement, and graduation. And whereas students and families are more likely to show up and engage when there are positive conditions for learning at school, including physical and emotional health and safety, a sense of belonging, connection, and support, academic challenges and engagement, and adults and peers with social emotional competency. And whereas reducing chronic absence, missing 10% or more of school for any reason, requires a comprehensive trauma-informed approach that starts with the prevention and early intervention, including developing routines and trusting relationships that create a sense of belonging, rather than responding with punitive action, which research finds is not particularly effective. And whereas improving attendance and engagement takes schools, families, elected leaders, and other community partners working together to rebuild regular and trusting communications and to identify and to address barriers to being in school. And whereas taking attendance daily in a caring, consistent manner is essential to identifying when students begin to miss too much school and for noticing as soon as possible when students are starting to miss too much school and engaging students and families with needed support and resources. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Johnston County Board of Commissioners stands with the nation in recognizing September as Attendance Awareness Month. We hereby commit to focusing on reducing absenteeism and addressing the factors that cause students to miss school in order to ensure all children an equal opportunity to learn, grow, and thrive academically, emotionally, and socially. We recognize that we must work together to build an engaging school environment that motivates attendance and sends the message that learning can and must continue. Adopted this day, August 18th, 2025.
Thank you so much.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to adopt the resolution. Any other discussion?
I was just going to point out that on the flyer of the information for West Smithfield, it was interesting that the bikes were for students were donated by Marlon Lee. So it's really neat of how his legacy is still impacting those in the community.
Amen.
Very good.
All right, anyone else? All right, all those in favor of adopting the resolution, proclamation, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right. Next, we have Smart Start Month.
Partnership for Children, Part 2.
Part two. And Vice Chairman Hatch will read this one.
And I'll keep
I
mine
mean, I'll
short.
do it for you again if you need me.
So good evening, Commissioners. I'm Candy Scott, the Executive Director with the Partnership for Children. I have with me Myra Burrell, our Planning and Accountability Director, for moral support. I'm here on behalf of Smart Start. Governor Stein had proclaimed September as Smart Start Month in the state of North Carolina. This month recognizes the efforts of the Smart Start Network across the state in supporting young children, families, and our child care providers. In Johnston County, the Partnership for Children is the backbone of the local early childhood system, as well displayed by Heather there. And our purpose is to support young children by improving child care quality and access, partnering with families to help them thrive, and enhancing child and family health and safety. We collaborate with child care providers, community partners, educators, and families to ensure that every child in our county receives the best possible start. We achieve this through training and coaching for our child care providers, parenting classes and support groups, connecting families with community resources, countywide literacy activities like Read to Grow, and most recently, our Child Care Academy. Last fiscal year, 14 of our 26 Academy graduates were hired at a licensed child care facility, which is helping to address the critical shortage in our child care staff. And we are continuing with the Child Care Academy this year. So we are formally requesting that Johnston County Board of Commissioners proclaim September as Smart Start Month to emphasize the importance of providing the services that ensure our county's children are safe, learning, and thriving. Thank you for your support.
The proclamation for Smart Start Month. Whereas over 30 years across North Carolina, the Smart Start Network has played a crucial role in supporting early childhood development to ensure all North Carolina children have the opportunity to reach their full potential in school and beyond. And whereas the mission of Smart Start is founded on the knowledge that a child's first 5 years of life are a time of critical brain development impacting lifelong success. And whereas Smart Start Network supports quality early care and education, preventative health services, and family support for children from birth to 5 years old, and has a proven track record in improving early childhood education, promoting healthy births, preventing child abuse and neglect, enhancing family support systems, and fostering childhood resiliency. And whereas the local Smart Start Partnership, the Partnership for Children of Johnston County, provides essential support and services for children, families, and child care providers, ensuring the safety of children and enhancing their readiness for school. And whereas using a collaborative community approach raises awareness and generates a collective impact that is essential to the infrastructure of the early childhood system. And whereas investing in high-quality early childhood initiatives like Smart Start can yield substantial long-term benefits for children, families, and society through increased educational attainment, higher earnings, reduced crime, and better health outcomes. Now, therefore, the Johnston County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim September 25th as Smart Start Month and call upon all citizens to celebrate and acknowledge the essential role Smart Start plays in building thriving communities across our state, adopted this 18th day of August 2025. And Mr. Chairman, I'll enter that in the form of a motion.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank
And
you.
follow us on social media so we can see all of the celebration activities.
Fantastic.
All right,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The next item is 4-H Sports Memorandum of Understanding. And our attorney, Ms. Slusser, will present that to us.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. It's my pleasure to bring back to you an amended and restated memorandum of agreement between North Carolina State University on behalf of Johnston County Cooperative Extension 4-H Youth Development Group. This is something that we talked about in July the 21st about expanding the programs that are at the current shooting sports location. When we talked about it the last time, we felt pretty confident in the terms of the memorandum of agreement, and we were waiting for the university to give us some feedback. The university has since approved and signed the proposed agreement, and we present that for your consideration. The reason for the request, of course, is that 4-H shooting sports programs have expanded within the county. They've got additional need for practice facilities, and what this amended agreement will do is allow for the safe and structured practice, not limited to archery, rifle, shotgun, and other 4-H shooting sports disciplines under the supervision of certified 4-H instructors. And we've had a lot of people that have been working on this proposed project, and Marie Coates in my office was instrumental in helping move this along, as was Meredith Wood and Bryant Spivey with Cooperative Extension, in addition to some of the 4-H shooting sports volunteers. And so it has definitely been a collaborative effort to try to expand services in a safe way within Johnston County, and to be able to expand these programs where these practice facilities are severely limited. So I present for your consideration the restated memorandum of agreement, and of course, Bryant Spivey and Meredith Wood are here to speak if you'd like to hear from them.
All right. Any questions for Ms. Slusser or Bryant or Meredith? I think Bryant should just come up and display some enthusiasm. The LED. That's what I'm waiting on.
I have one question, Mr.
Yes,
Chairman.
sir.
For council. Should things evolve in this set schedule, first and third Saturday, should that need to change? Does it have to go back to the university? Is that right?
So we put a little bit of flexibility into the agreement. If they're preparing for competition, that sort of thing, and they need additional dates, they can contact the county and we can facilitate additional dates. But if it's going to be expanded on a more permanent basis and that sort of thing, then yes, we would need to bring that back to you.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Any other questions, comments?
And then, can you, either you or Bryant, just kind of, just for public information of just saying where this is located at?
This property is located on a county-owned parcel off of Highway 210, and it's very close to the county landfill.
So
and
close
of course,
to the livestock arena as well?
Yes.
Kind of sort of in the same area?
Yes, and I do want to point out for the public that it's only for the use of 4-H and
Correct.
supervised 4-H shooting sports programs. And the reason for that is there are a lot of standards and best management practices that have to be met, as well as risk management plans and all of those other sorts of things. And so we're depending on Cooperative Extension and those 4-H youth development volunteers to make sure that everything is done in a safe manner.
Thank you.
All right. Commissioner Stovall, I know you were instrumental in moving this to the finish line. Any comments?
Well, I hope we certainly move this to the finish line, because 4-H is a very, very valuable program, and Johnston County shooting sports program has been in existence since 2002. The club leader here, who I'm very proud to say is my son, and he came up through the program over 10 years, and once he became eligible, he got certified as instructor. Now he is the leader of the club. And we're taking a group of junior and senior teams down to the regional tournament at the 4-H Eastern Center this coming weekend. They've got record attendance. I think they said they had at least 348 participants coming in from counties all over the East. They have a similar tournament in the central part of the state and the west, and the people who place at these regional tournaments are invited to go to state tournament, which will be, I think, the first week of October. And we've had kids that have been invited to participate, try out for the national team every year, I think, for the last close to a decade. And they've gone to national competition out in Nebraska at, I think it's Grand Rapids. This is not much out there but corn, but but it's a very good program. I very much support it.
And I will point out that the agreement is between the university and Johnston County, and that these volunteers are volunteers. There's no financial consideration that's included in any of that.
For almost 30 years, from what I've seen, everything the 4-H and the 4-H leaders have done here in the county have been done very well.
All right, any other comments? I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we adopt the agreement.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Memorandum of understanding, I should have said.
I think that's what the clerk heard. So
Right.
yeah, we're good. Good. All right, all in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay?
Thank you.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, next up, we have a request from Johnston County Emergency Services to declare ambulances surplus. And we have our EMS Chief, Ted Hardy, here to present us information on that.
Good evening. Appreciate you all's time this evening. As Deputy Director Holloman mentioned a little while ago, we appreciate your support, what y'all do and the support that you provide us, help us do what we do. So thank you very much. We would like to declare 2 ambulances, Fleet number 149 and Fleet 153, as surplus, and donate these ambulances to Johnston Community Colleges. While these ambulances are no longer fit for purpose of emergency response, they can still provide a valuable resource to the community college in a training environment and help with the training of future EMS providers here in Johnston County.
All right. Any questions?
Has it been established that the college is willing to accept it?
Yes.
Great.
Got a thumbs up in the back right there. Chief, I just want to say how much I appreciate y'all identifying these, and you know, your division does such an extraordinary job answering the calls for help all over the county. And then our community college does an extraordinary job in training public safety. You know, the college as a whole is a tremendous asset for Johnston County. But when I look at the public safety program, I'm truly proud of that, because I've been around for that evolution over the years, and it's really second to none. I mean, we've got a great team of people doing a great job, and it's wonderful to see the county and the college work together to support each other and to provide the training and the resources that our new upcoming and seasoned ones, because a lot of people don't realize they keep going back for continuing education all throughout their career. But it's really good. So thank you so much for doing that. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
All right.
Ready for a motion, sir?
I am.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt the resolution to approve the request to declare ambulances surplus and donate them to Johnston Community College.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All
I was
those.
gonna echo, sorry.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
was just gonna echo Commissioner Harris. So it's just great to see the community college and EMS working together for the betterment of Johnston County, like I said, as the continuing ed, but then also just the thing and the impact that it can have for the future students at Johnston Community College and being able to be more career ready, and also hopefully more potential county employees to help fill the gap in the need for emergency services. So thank y'all for also being here tonight for that.
All right, anyone else? All right, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have Ms. Christine Dowdell here from our DSS to give us an update on what's going on.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And staff.
Wow, yeah,
I know.
the crowd comes in
I
now.
know.
Yeah.
Support. Great
Love it.
team, great team. thank you for allowing us to be here and present an overview of the DSS agency. We really, really appreciate it. I would like to thank our staff, our ELT Executive Leadership Team meeting, as well as our DSS board and our chairman, Mr. Coleman back there. So just want to thank you. I presented everyone with an overview. This is, from my understanding, our first time just providing an overview of the services that we offer. We plan to do this each year, but each year will be a report, which we'll kind of slim down some of the information. But our mission is to serve, aid, and protect needy and vulnerable children and adults, strengthening families through human services programs that promote health, well-being, and self-sufficiency. And in order to do that, we have to work as a team and ensure that we're providing the services to our customers. So, again, some of the key initiatives that we have included in this overview is restructuring the agency. One of the couple of departments, we separated the Medicaid Services and Economic Services Department so that we have 2 division directors to provide oversight to this very important program, as well as establishing the Resource Department. And with the Resource Department, we have a visitation unit that sole responsibility is to assist with observing visitation, supervising transportation, and when the Isaiah House opens up, Isaiah House 117, when that opens, they will be instrumental in providing supervision to our children there and working with our parents. They also do a lot of work with our parents and observing. We also have our interpreting unit because we've noticed the increased number of non-English speaking families here, and we're providing services to them. And we also, as a result of that, we decreased our use of our contract for the interpreting services. So that really helped. Mailroom, we've got an increased number of mailroom. Well, the staff, we just kind of changed some of the positions and responsibilities because we have a lot of mail coming in and out, especially with subpoenas, trying to make sure that we get that information to our attorneys in a timely manner. We also incorporated the day sheet, a couple of software programs, day sheets and II reception that helps to streamline operations and improve reporting. And that also helps with us receiving our reimbursement, accurate reimbursement from the state to Johnston County. As you guys know, the Isaiah's House 117 will be the first house in North Carolina, and that provides a home-like setting for our children in care. The building that, our agency building is not conducive for doing visitations. And one of the reasons is because of the privacy and also confidentiality and just having a nice environment for our kids to visit with their parents and or caregivers as well as sibling groups. We are very family-centered, and we want to make sure we provide them that opportunity. We have enhanced some of our internal structure collaboration, of course, sifting the agency culture to improve employee morale and streamline a lot of our services. One of the most notable changes is the transition from using the term client to customer to encourage positive interactions with our customers, because without them, we would not have a job. We also have we've incorporated the family-centered approach where we're looking at families, and we've always done this, but we really wanted to make sure that we honed in on this, is viewing families as capable of making informed decisions. They truly know what's best for them, and we want to make sure that we include them in that decision-making. Once a month, we have our monthly reunion Mondays, and during the webinars, available staff are able to jump on, and we provide an overview, service highlights, accomplishments, events, and trainings, as well as our different initiatives. Also, this year, we incorporated guiding core values, which is also in the book, and just to basically focus on our customers and hone in again in self-determination. We were successful in having a job fair, and that was with the help of the county HR system, county HR department, and that was on a Saturday. We had 61 interviews, and we were able to hire 14 new hires, and we looked at that on the spot. We were able to do that on the spot. Our business, our annual budget is over $48 million, and we have a department that oversees the fiscal operations, and we work collaboratively with our county finance department, work very closely with them and to ensure compliance with state, county, federal policies for accurate reimbursements. And we also handle any customer payments and fund recovery. So some of the major highlights that's coming on different initiatives is Path NC. And Path NC is a new technology platform that's incorporated in all 100 counties. And we started transitioning and training starting in June, and we are expected to go live on September 8th. And so that is an overhaul of pretty much the system in North Carolina, the way we interview, do intakes, and so that all counties in North Carolina will have access to this system. Another big IT initiative was the Cisco WebEx telephone system, and with that, it was an effective upgrade providing advanced call reporting and dynamics call queue management. So that helps us to remain in compliance with the Kinsley, no, it's not Kinsley, and I'll get that right. Vivian, McKinsley, huh? Kinsley and Fletcher. That's why I have them here. Okay. Okay. Our CQI team supports employee development in not just children and family services, but we have 2 CQI departments, and that's to ensure that they are monitoring and auditing our cases to make sure that we are in compliance with state and federal reviews, as well as working with UNC so that they can help us with our some of the tools that we use to ensure that we're getting reimbursement. Food and nutrition, with the big, beautiful bill, we are, there are a lot of different changes that will come this fiscal year, but probably will not see a lot of those major changes until the next fiscal year. But during this time, we're just trying to embrace it and look for ways to ensure that we're in compliance when we start looking at when some of those initiatives start taking place. And it's different times of when that will start taking place, so we really don't have the exact timeline. But with our food and nutrition services, we are required to maintain timeliness, and our timeliness rates for applications has been at 98.9% and recertifications at 99% averaging, which helps to stimulate the economy with over $50 million in benefits issued. We also provide crisis and energy assistance, and we've been able to provide $1.9 million to families with heating and cooling expenses. Again, that comes back into our economy. Child care subsidy, we spent over $12.2 million to assist families in maintaining employment, and we are looking at our waiting lists and taking children off of the waiting lists. As well as our program integrity, we've been able to recoup over about $353 million. Our goal this fiscal year is to work with our attorneys as well as the court system to ensure that we can recover more fraudulent benefits that were provided to families. Just for Medicaid, of course, again, there's going to be some changes in Medicaid, and especially to our providers. But one of the things, the budget for Medicaid was $8.4 million with significant federal and state contributions, highlighting its economic impact. So again, that comes back into the county, the providers, public health. That also comes back to them as well. We have a call center that we launched in October 2024, and due to the growing demand, we've had to increase. And with the call center, not only do they answer calls to the agency, but they also deal with a lot of minor changes, so it will not have to, the call will not have to be transferred to the worker. They can do some of those changes themselves. And just summing it up, let's see. Stakeholder engagement and collaboration. Medicaid has been working to strengthen our relationships with the hospitals, had a meet and greet, and that worked really well. And because, of course, we do have someone that's at the hospital that works for us and to assist with providing services, as well as having someone at the health department to assist with providing services. Children's Services, there were about 1,700 reports that were assigned for investigation. That does not include the number of reports that we received. And of course, we are mandated to provide 24/7, 365 days a week services, intake services, as well as adult services. So someone is on call at all times. And sometimes that may mean staff will, have to come back if we're short. With after hours, that is those are positions that's kind of hard to staff. And so we work very closely. Teresa Carter does a great job, as well as all of the children's services staff, with helping to ensure that we have the coverage and that we don't burn out our staff. Visitation, and just really happy about that as well. We've had over 2,200 hours of transportation and for visits, medical appointments, and to assist with any type of services they need. And let's see, adult service and guardianships. I'm not sure, and like in the book, in our annual overview, I'm not sure if people realize that we also, DSS is responsible for unclaimed bodies, meaning after 10 days, if the body is unclaimed, then DSS is responsible for taking care of the body, and that, of course, is included in our budget each year. This past fiscal year, it was 25 individuals that we had, that we took responsibility for. And we also work with the Veterans Department when that happens to let them take that responsibility. So one of the things, just to kind of in closing, that we are really looking forward to, and everybody's going to cheer, is our new building that's coming up, right? Okay, y'all get an extra hour lunch.
Building.
So we are very, very, very excited, and we are thankful that you guys have included that in the budget, and we know it will take a while, but we are so happy about that. Some highlights, some reasons why is that, customers will be able to access all services and resources in one building and not have to go to a different building. We have 5 buildings right now. And out of the 5, we really only have one building that we can really provide some training to, and that's up to 25 people. And so our building, our boardroom, we have to manually close the boardroom. Lynette does it most of the time, and all of us just close the boardroom to separate it so that we can have some type of privacy. But the walls are very thin, and we have a lot of noise machine, white noise machines that are either inside our offices or outside our offices, so that we can have some type of confidentiality. Even for me, I have to have some, the white noise, and then I constantly, do you hear my conversation going back and forth? It will also result in better customer experience, because when we're able to, if we have a customer there, they don't have to go into another building for child care. They don't have to go to somewhere else for adult services. The last couple of months, we've had a couple of adult services. They're in another building, and they would have to come from the building to drive to where we are to do an intake and or to meet with some of the people, our adults. And then sometimes we have adults that walk from the hospital and come straight there, and because they still have the band on. So we're trying to provide those services. Unified culture. One building reinforces one team and one mission. A lot of times when you're in different buildings, it creates silos, so it's kind of hard to bring people together, and that's why we try to have some community events. Our clinical team this year, and also to look at our own mental health, because our clinical team this year was able to do for Mental Health Month, was able to do an activity for our staff. And July was, our months this summer has really been difficult, but we're seeing more families and mothers that are using opiates. And we're having a lot of kids that are coming into DSS custody and/or reports of that. We really do need mental health services for our families. And although we provide some, we're very limited in what we can provide. Let's see. Enhancing our customer services. It simplifies the administrative tasks associated with managing customer needs. Right now, I've assigned processing assistants. We have them in each building. And so everybody does something differently, and then you have to cross-train them. And if someone's out, then they may have to come over to another building to help. It improves knowledge of sharing, and it also, having 5 buildings, our IT department has to go through all 5 buildings and maintain that. So those are just some of the reasons. We're very happy that we will have a DSS building. We also want to be able to collaborate more with our external partners. Right now, we are having to pay for space if we want to have a meeting. And then when we are able to work with some of our state partners and have trainings in our building so we don't have to send staff out, we also, it's open to staff. The agreement is it's open to our staff. We get a number of seats, and then they will have a number of seats from different counties. But that also brings money into the community because they stay in hotels, they purchase food, and so those are some of the things that we look at. So I just wanted to again, if you have, I know you didn't have the time, you can look at it, and sure if Commissioner Harris has any questions from you guys, you can always shoot us an email or just ask us, or you could just ask me now.
I have a question myself.
Okay.
The Partnership for Children had identified the transportation issue on absenteeism. How about the transportation support? Are you getting what you need?
For transportation support for our families?
Yeah, I don't know if you depend on JCATS very much, or they got help with what you're doing.
Well, no, because our services are provided only to open cases, child welfare, and to the court system. We also have someone, a translator, that will provide that, but we do transportation just for our services, child protective services, mainly foster care. We will receive reports in regards to truancy, and prior to, years ago, I used to work as a social worker doing the truancy, and we had truancy court. So I understood exactly what she's talking about in regards to the days. So the only thing is, as long as we have the funding and there's a need, we will provide for that. And we have approximately, how many kids in care, Teresa? 230? 208. So those numbers fluctuate, which there's been an increase because of the opiate use. And so with those 208, we still want to make sure the transportation is provided to our families, and especially siblings, because when you're taken away from your siblings, we want to try, we have policy, but we want to make sure that we're doing as many visitation visits as possible and not just once a month or anything like that.
Good, thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
I don't have a comment. I don't have a question, just a comment. I actually had to visit your office today and just wanted to give a huge compliment. Had to take care of some stuff for my mom, and from the time I walked in, everybody was very pleasant. I was in, looked after, taken care of, and on my way. This is the first time I've had to go through any of the processes there, and it was a very enjoyable experience. So thank you. For those that have to do it, I shouldn't say that wasn't an enjoyable experience whatsoever, but when you have to do something, I really appreciate everybody there being pleasant and attentive, and it was just a great experience for what you guys have to some days deal with. So thank y'all for that.
And one of the things we try to just remind people is just to be humble, because you never know when you're going to be on the other side of the table. And make sure that we're treating people with respect and dignity.
I felt that very much so today, so thank you.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Chairman, I've got a few comments. I wouldn't always say this. I was fortunate enough to be appointed to the DSS board back in about 2019. I didn't always think that was a great appointment, but I do now. But I just want to say that, over a period of years, there's been such an evolution in the way that the service is provided, and that's a complicated process. I mean, there are so many hats being worn by so many different people out here in this audience. And I got to tell you, I am so proud of each one of them and Ms. Dowdell's leadership and revamping the organization. And I want to thank this board for supporting that and supporting Ms. Slusser for revamping the legal department and creating a situation that is so much better for families, so much better for children. The people are so much better served now. Not that they weren't before, but it's just such a better situation. And so with the great people that we have doing this, and y'all are smiling out there because I appreciate, and I'm not going to start naming people because I'll forget somebody, but I really want to tell you how much I appreciate the great job you do. And your heart's in it, and you're making a difference to the people, and that's what we're all here to do, is to serve the people of Johnston County. And there's no better illustration of it than to walk through the halls of the DSS building, hopefully one building instead of five soon. But thank you for the great job, and thank you for the report.
Okay, and can I just say one more thing? I cannot emphasize the help that Jennifer has provided. Our attorneys are great. Our attorneys are great, and it's really good to work with them and to know that the attorneys are behind you and they get it and they understand what we're doing. Because I've worked with in other places, or I hear other directors, and it's sometimes a struggle. And we are very blessed to have the attorneys and the staff, and I thank you guys for all of the assistance that you provide. And on page 26, I do have Jennifer's picture with her. She didn't know, I said she's going to get me, but she, the Attorney of the Year, and it was truly, truly warranted. But I also want to thank Rick, because Rick is very helpful and calls and just checks in on me, and I really appreciate that. I do. And Chad, just thank you for working with us and us, getting the stuff to you, getting it back, and not complaining. And we really do appreciate the work that we have. So I want to thank my staff for being here, and I appreciate them. And I always tell them there's no perfect agency, but we do the best that we can with the services that we have.
How many employees do you have within the DSS?
When we are at full capacity, I think we're pretty much around 380 or so.
Wow.
Yeah. And so if we were to have a board meeting or just meetings, we divide it up. So it's like you're saying the same thing over and over, but it's just because of the space that we have. So, but our housekeeping staff do an excellent job with keeping it up, and so does Daniel. So I have to give Daniel a lot of credit because he comes over there really quick. And
So that's about a quarter of our full-time employees, or employees, period.
Yeah.
I did want to say the report that we keep referring to.
Oh, yeah.
Is this
Annual
report,
review,
the
annual
Johnson County
review, yeah.
Department of Social Services Annual Overview 24-25. So that's available. If anyone in the public would like to get that, you can reach out to our clerk, and she can make sure that's available if it's not already published online somewhere.
And it also identifies the money that comes in from food and nutrition, from food stamps, and again from Medicaid, that helps to support Johnston County. We're going to see some changes in regards to the provider reimbursement and the funding, and that's what we're paying attention to, especially Vivian and also Love. They'll have to take care of that. They'll help me, though. But thank you. If you guys have any other questions?
No, I just had a comment.
Okay.
One, not to rain on any of the enthusiasm, but so far we've just approved the design.
Okay.
We're moving in the right direction, so just keep encouraging
Well,
us.
I'm speaking it.
Keep
I'm,
encouraging
that's
us.
right.
We can into
I'm
there you go.
I'm speaking it.
Rick, did you get the coming soon sign yet?
So the other thing is, and you'll hear me talk about these 4 words, but when we did our branding, we came up with 4 words that described our employees. empowering, compassionate, responsive, and visionary. And they definitely apply to your group. And I think just based on what April had said, the compassionate and responsive have been revealed even today in that. So I thank you for representing Johnston County so well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we will now continue on. Oh, I guess we need, yeah, we got to wait for Ms.
The
Farmer to
next-
get
The
inside.
next crowd to come inside.
Yeah, the next wave. All right, here we go. Chandra, where's your crowd? All right. Yeah, there we go. So the next item, the next three items deal with public utilities, and Chandra Farmer, our director, will lead us in those. The first one is Buffalo Road Parallel Force Main Award and Revised Project Budget. So, Ms. Farmer.
Yes, this project has been on our capital improvements plan for quite some time. It's a 20-inch force main that serves to move wastewater. It's essentially all the wastewater collected from the Pine Level and Selma area. It will divert the wastewater back to our new wastewater treatment facility. So it does stretch along Buffalo Road where the existing force main ends and ties into a gravity line, which is just south of Kelly Drive on Buffalo Road. So it'll parallel Buffalo Road, then go cross-country when it gets close to the Smithfield Water Treatment Plant property and go back there and tie into our existing wastewater facilities. We received 8 bids on this project. The low bidder was Sanford Contractors. They were at just over $3.2 million. We have proposed a project budget, which includes revision of the existing budget, which adds in the construction for the job. The bids actually came in very well under our anticipated budget. So you can see with the revised budget, we anticipate funding this project with water and sewer revenue bonds. We've reduced the contribution we had anticipated, so that saves us on how much we have to borrow. And the remainder will be from the session law direct appropriation from 2023 that we have received. We've already accepted an offer from the state for that direct appropriation funding for the project. So we recommend awarding the project to Sanford Contractors in their bid amount of $3,270,778.05, contingent upon Division of Water Infrastructure approval of that resolution to award, and approval of the revised project budget and capital project ordinance. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Ms. Farmer on this?
Thank you for the map.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I hope we continue to see the trend of bids coming in below
That would be wonderful.
budgets. Yeah, that would be really good. All right. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to award the Buffalo Road Parallel Force Main Project to the Sanford Contractors in the amount of $3,270,778.05 and approve the resolution to award revised project budget and capital project ordinance contingent upon approval from Division of Water Infrastructure.
A second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. The next item involves my favorite acronym. The Central is for the Central Johnston County Regional Water Wastewater Treatment Facility Preliminary Treatment Facility Improvements Project. Better known as CJCR WWTF.
So this project has previously been awarded to Dellinger Contractors, and after the award to Dellinger, we have adopted a revised project budget back in December of '24 for some additional work we added at the site, which was an emergency repair on the main influent line to the pipe. Sanford Contractors completed that work. We've been working with Sanford through their on-call contract to complete an additional repair, which is a 16-inch air line that needed replacing on the plant site. We're proposing to add that to this project budget.
which would change the project budget by increasing the ARPA funding associated with this project. There were some interest earnings that we had from that ARPA funding, so that would be, again, funding that we do not have to borrow and repay. So with the total revised project budget, the project will be entirely funded with the additional increase in the ARPA funding, and then, of course, the state appropriation that was already there. I'll be happy to answer any questions, but we're requesting approval of the revised project budget and capital project ordinance.
All right, any questions for Ms. Farmer on this?
What was the original, so the difference is about 300,000?
Yes, so it's an
Okay.
increase in $300,000 from the ARPA funding line item.
Okay.
All right, any questions? All right, do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve the revised capital project budget and ordinance.
Second. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this? All right, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, that brings us to the proposed water and sewer system development fees for fiscal year 25-26 and sewer bulk capacity fees for fiscal year 25-26 as well. So, Ms. Farmer.
Yes, you will recall that I presented, we had a public hearing, and we presented our updated system development fee analysis at the June meeting. Last month, or actually earlier this month, the board approved that analysis. And the recommendations that came out of that analysis and at the public hearing, I presented several options. One option would be to go towards our system development fee in a phased approach, where we increase that over the next 3 fiscal years. And then, of course, our study indicates the maximum amount that we can charge for the analysis for system development fees. The system development fees for water and sewer are broken down by existing residential development, residential new construction, and then other. So on the chart that you have in front of you, the 3/4 inch and larger, that applies to any development that is non-residential. The residential has its own line item, and that is not separated by meter size. So you have that data in front of you for the water system development fee, the sewer system development fee, and as you recall, that one did decrease slightly because of the methodology of how we calculate flows and permit flows with the state. And then the bulk water capacity fees, I will point out to you on those. We recommended changing the structure of those fees and basing those on hydraulic zone, which is based on the cost of service necessary to each hydraulic zone based on where the bulk customer is located. We also added the additional notes at the bottom on while our capacity is limited, under what scenarios we continue to sell capacity to these bulk customers. So we don't have one that would come in early and try to purchase all of our capacity. We want to ensure we continue to have sufficient capacity to sell to these bulk customers as they need it until we do have additional water supplies constructed. The sewer bulk capacity is, again, that one's a slight increase, but that's based on that analysis. And that would apply only to those customers that have existing interlocal agreements with us, which is Smithfield, Selma, Pine Level, and Four Oaks. Any other bulk customers would have their own, there would be a separate negotiation for any new additional bulk customers in the future. The proposed effective date has been October 1 for the system development fees for the retail customers. And then you may recall at the last meeting I recommended for the bulk customers moving that to November 1 for those bulk customers, so they have sufficient notice. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
The analysis performed by our consultant, obviously within the regulatory framework, looks out for the viability, long-term viability of the system. Does his analysis include anything related to the growth of the county or lack of? For example, the presentation we've heard tonight about the impact on the growth of housing and that sort of thing. Does it look at that at all when it's making these recommendations? or
So-
strictly the viability of the system? And
So the main part of the system development fee is based on what it cost us to build new capacity to serve new customers. So the biggest portion of that is when we look at our capital improvements plan. And you'll recall, as I presented before, this analysis is a 20-year capital improvements plan. It includes some, certainly a very large expenditure as we start a new water supply in likely 2033. So that's the biggest portion is based on that. The calculation does take into account factors for existing debt and existing facilities. So there's a deduct when you go in and look at that. But this is solely a financial analysis on the cost to provide services for new capacity and new growth.
So it's the breakdown, so there's no maintenance include, that's in our user fees is where the maintenance.
That's correct. So any maintenance and repair projects that are in our capital planning are deducted from this analysis. Those are separate. Those are intended to be accounted for in commodity charges, in your monthly commodity charge.
Chandra, I've received a couple emails and messages from people and citizens in the community with concerns about this. Has your office received any other
I have not
requests
received any communication regarding the system development fees. I saw a copy of the email that was sent to the board earlier this month, but that is the only communication I have received.
Ms. Farmer, I have a couple of questions. Would you again state for record, what is the purpose of system development fees?
System development fees are an analysis to determine, as I said earlier, the cost to create new capacity, to build new capacity in your water and sewer system. And you can use that methodology to ensure growth pays for growth.
And who pays for these fees?
So the fees are, of course, are transferred to the end user, but we assess these fees when someone comes in to apply for service for the new construction.
So it's the new customers that pay for this?
That's correct.
And not the existing customer?
That's correct. It's for the new customers. New service applications pay the new fee.
And when is that fee due and payable?
It's due when they apply for service.
So when they apply for service, is that contingent upon a building permit being issued?
They have to apply for service in order to obtain a building permit, yes.
Okay, so this is known on the front end of construction before they even break ground, that this is going to be a cost that that builder or that developer is most likely going to pass on in the pricing of that end product.
That is something, yes. The fee is based on, which is paid when the new home is constructed. So yes, the builder typically knows that that's going to be a fee at that point.
But he has to pay that fee in order for the permit to be issued, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you. I think it's important.
And the timing of that has changed. The statute has changed several times on when that has to be paid. At one time, the developer had to pay it when the plat was recorded, but that's been pushed back to when the lots are, when they apply for service to get a building permit.
Okay, thank you.
And so on echoing that question, so all the permits that have already been approved pretty much with, like if a subdivision comes to the planning board and they're ready for those lots, they may have already gotten approved to then come to you to get the permit to actually build the house. So whenever you're in the process of trying to do a subdivision or a development or even build your own house, you've got to come to the planning board, and then if the planning board approves it, then they're able to move that step further to get their water from you, correct?
Right. So if it's a new
Right.
subdivision, once the subdivision's approved by the planning board, then it goes through the review process to construction drawing approval. Everything's constructed, ready to be accepted, then a final plat is recorded. Then the lots can be permitted for buildings, and that's when the system development fees are paid.
And I know we've beaten this horse to death, but especially for those watching and that are concerned, can you help us understand why we're almost doubling our fees within the next 3 years?
Sure. So as you know, our capital improvements plan has significant costs associated with the significant infrastructure that we need over the next 20 years to build this capacity. Our current water intake is on the Neuse River, and our existing water treatment plant and intake site is limited.
We can only take so much from that location. So to construct a new intake, a new treatment facility, and then transmit that treated supply back to the areas that need that water is expensive, and it's certainly a large cost in our capital improvements plan.
Do you have any idea what neighboring counties that, I don't want to use the word compete, but neighboring counties, what they charge for the same fees?
So that was included in the system development fee study. I will say that, we are, if the rate that was analyzed in our system development fee, the final rate, our maximum rate, is one of the highest in the state, based on the ones that we are aware of here.
But it is an objective amount because there's a formula, engineering formula to calculate that. It's not arbitrary.
That's correct.
So what other people are charging really is dependent upon what their true costs are for capacity, and this is our cost for capacity.
That's right. And some entities may not choose for growth to pay for growth. Also, we have to keep in mind some of these entities have not experienced the growth that we have, so they have sufficient plant capacity available. They don't need to build new infrastructure. They can sell capacity out of their existing facilities. With the significant growth we have, and we have a relatively new system. Our water treatment plant came online in 1997. So since then, it has, our growth curve has been straight up. So it's us continuing to build that capacity and needing that capacity is the reason for that increased cost.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you put 800 million into any formula, that's a big number.
That's right.
That comes out the other end. So.
That's what I was fixing to say.
Mr. Farmer, I think you said at your presentation last meeting that this phased-in schedule would leave about $5 million on the table the first year and about $3 million the second year for a total of $8 million. And that cost really being passed on to new users as the intent of the legislation or the general statute would be passed on to the existing customers if we phase this in. But we do have justification to carry it to the max immediately. Is it not correct?
That's correct. And, the reason I had recommended initially the phased approach is the fact that these are projects spread over 20 years. As we get closer to each project, the costs and how accurate our estimate will be will certainly change. Unfortunately, though, in this environment that we have seen lately, the more you push projects off, the more you push them back, the more expensive it typically gets. So certainly any revenue that we collect now in the near term with system development fees will go in the bank to pay for this new capacity.
Yes.
And that's less money to be borrowed in the future.
So based on the capital improvement plan, and this being a 20-year plan, what percentage of the total amount needed would you say that the new rates would achieve? Like, for example, if this goes forward and we are experiencing the same type growth that we are predicting and modeling, would this mean borrowing 50% of the needed money, or is this going to get us close to all of the money?
No.
Okay.
The money's going to have to be borrowed. We'll certainly have to seek revenue bonds for this project for the great majority of the project. But what this does is, with the system development fees, we can still use those that are collected over the next 20 years. We can use those to pay the debt service associated with those revenue bonds that we borrow for this project.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we might not have it all in hand up front, so we don't have to finance. We still would have to finance, but this goes to pay that debt service.
Gotcha.
Helps pay the mortgage.
Yeah.
And that debt service, do you think would be wholly taken care of by these fees?
Based on our financial projections, there's still going to be some system, there'll be increases throughout our system for customers, for all customers. Some of that will be M&R, some of that will be very likely capacity related, but we're continuing to do that financial modeling. As we know what these numbers are, we can more accurately define what that's going to look like, so we can work to reduce any future rate impacts on existing customers.
Mr. Farmer, how often can these system development fees be adjusted?
I would recommend we do our analysis every other year. The state we can adjust them, though, with our yearly budget. I mean, we can adjust them as much as the board, as often as the board would like to, but I recommend we redo the analysis every 2 years because our capital improvements plan is very, very dynamic. Costs are changing so routinely that I think it's important we keep it very up to date.
Thank you.
Statute requires us to do it every 5 years.
All right, I did have one, and I believe you said this last time, but for the existing residential category, did I understand that was about 10% of the anticipated revenues or number of customers? I can't remember which one that was.
That's correct. The number of customers that are typically disconnecting from a well and connecting to our to public water, it's about 10% of our customers.
Okay. Any other questions?
Again, just for clarification, so your typical 3/4 residential new construction water line is what you see in most subdivisions throughout the county. When do you typically see the stair steps up to the 1.5, and the 2-inch?
That would be commercial. So, I mean, that's the intent here, is that anything that has this number of the,
right,
or by meter size would be anything that's non-residential. So that you would look at commercial, institutional, industrial, any non-commercial use are typically those that would need a larger meter size. And it's really based on flow. Most retail, commercial buildings with retail stores or offices, they don't need more than a 3/4 inch service.
Thank you. Just want to clarify.
All right, any other questions, comments? All right, anyone, well, I will say this, I think the last, and Commissioner Stovall, and kind of we've all said this, but we really have to pay for the future in the capital improvement program. We really have two options. One are the system development fees that we're talking about today. The other is through user fees or user rates. And I think that's, at least my statement last time is, I don't think that's an option we want to pursue, to continue to put it on the folks who are already here. And that, at least for me, that's why on the existing residential, going to that first step makes sense. But on the others, going to the maximum makes the most sense to me, because $8 million lost, we're not making that up, and that is lost. We may borrow more when we get to the time to do it, but we're not going to get another chance to earn that $8 million that we've lost in the first 2 years of this phase in. And that's on the water. I mean, sewer, goes the other direction, and the bulk capacity fees.
What are you saying, the proposal, the recommended proposal for the residential and the max allowable for the commercial?
I was saying for the existing residential, the phased and the
well disconnect.
Yeah, the well disconnect.
I got
and
you.
Then residential, anything new would be the maximum.
Do you have a number on how much that proposal would cost if we only eliminated if we phased in the well disconnect?
That's a very small portion. Like
Very
I said,
small, okay.
it's less than 10% of our customers.
Chairman, I'm more apt to phase it as a whole. I think anytime you make a decision this big, it's important that you do it in steps. And I think we've got the data that shows that it can work this way. I don't know why we wouldn't let it work out that way versus going straight to the maximum, if I understood you correctly.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what data are you referring to that shows that it works?
Well, that she's recommended that we can stair step it. Is that what you're saying?
Can
Did I
we afford it?
misunderstand you?
No.
And is it right, push that burden off on when it's intended for the new customers to pay, push it off to the existing customers, says you've got to absorb $8 million worth of fee increases because we don't want to impose this on the people who are rightfully supposed to pay it? That's where I'm at on this.
I think if you listen to the citizens that we represent, loud and clear, they would like for growth to pay for growth. I believe that with all my heart on everything that we do. So I would tend to agree with the Chairman.
I agree with you.
I don't disagree. I just feel like this is another way that growth is paying for growth. It's just doing it a little more slow and steady than what feels like a large change, a large shift.
I agree that it's a large shift.
It is a large
It's a
shift.
large shift.
It is a large
We got
shift.
large cost.
That's right. $800 million.
All right, anyone willing to make a motion?
Well, I'm not sure what it needs to say exactly.
So I think we're adopting everything that she presented except for on the water.
Well, we're
system
not
development
adopting
fees.
the phase schedule on
No.
anything other than existing residential with a well disconnect.
That's right. So but the bulk water capacities, we're going to go with her recommendation. I think the bulk sewer capacity, we're going to go with her recommendation. And the sewer system development fees, we're going to go with her recommendation. So the only change is to the water system development fees, and then we will go to the max on all new construction.
Except existing residential well
Right.
disconnect. All right.
Somebody can make a stab at that.
So I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying, Chairman. So where we have these charts here, let's just use the top line to keep it simple. The existing 1650 existing residential well disconnect, you're proposing that we go ahead and go straight to the 4490, or we're doing her?
The stair step for existing.
Yeah, for existing, we'll go to 2375.
That one was stair step, and the rest would go
For
to
the rest,
Johnston.
well, okay, I should have said everything below that line. I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure I was clarifying for anybody watching too. So everything else is going to go, so essentially residential new construction would go 4750 to 8980 versus doing the stair step.
Right.
Correct. Right. I don't usually make a motion, but I can make a motion if I need to.
I just would like to say that, yeah, it is a large jump, and I think that, that we have stated that regardless of how you get there, somebody's got to pay for it. It is if you can stair step it, and $8 million is left on the table, and none of us like to raise fees on anything. But I did want to take this opportunity for people out there listening to make sure that if you are an existing customer and you have water service and you have sewer service, this does not affect you. This does not affect you, because I know that some people will read the headline and see that our taxes just went up and now our fees are going up. This does not affect you. Okay, this is for new growth, paying for new growth. And I just want everybody to make sure that that is understood. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I will make a motion that we adopt the system and development fees for both the residential, for the sewer and the bulk water. And we will jump to the max, except for the existing well disconnect. We'll do the phased in step.
On the water.
On the well disconnect water, yes.
Now the bulk, you want, where you going to max on
Need
that?
some on bulk in there. You want to adopt the bulk fee schedule as presented?
Yeah, I thought we were talking about the recommendation on the bulk.
No, I'm good with what's presented on the bulk.
Okay.
I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
I just want to go on record based on, some of the comments we heard tonight, based on some of the other emails that I've received, with the average home price being just under $400,000 in Johnston County, that's almost a 1% increase, and just that's one thing. And I agree that growth should pay for growth, 100%. I just also agree that there's a way to step it, just like the growth. The growth in our property values and everything else has gone up exponentially year over year. I think there's a better way to stair step it to get to where we know we should be and we know we are going. That's all I'll say about that, because at the end of the day, it is getting paid by builders and developers, but it's also being passed on to the new people that are, and not just moving into this area, but like we heard earlier, the people in this area that want to buy a new home and, move out of their parents' house. It is also people here in Johnston County. So I just want to make sure 1% of the cost of a house is a large decision that we're making.
All right, any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to at least put on the record that I've had feedback from citizens that say they support taking to the max because they don't want to see it show up in their cost because they're existing customers. I even had a prominent builder approach me and asked about this, and I explained to him what we were contemplating. I said no decisions had been made. And he says, when you explain it to me, he says, I support taking it to the max because that was the intent of these system development fees. And he had a vested interest in it. But that's just another perspective. No disrespect to
Absolutely not.
Ms. Stevens' point of view. I think it's valid in terms of trying to mitigate costs to new buyers, but the intent here is to pass that cost to new customers.
I don't disagree. I just think we could do it over a span of 3 years easier than a span of one vote.
Well, we will have a chance next year to look at it again.
Look at it again, yes.
Look at it again. So, and as Mr. Farmer pointed out, there's changes occurring all the time. So
Nothing's ever permanent in government.
That's right. All right. Any other discussion? All right. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay.
Nay.
Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Farmer.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have Kimberly Horn here to present an update on our Unified Development Ordinance.
Hi, everyone. It's great to see you all again. My name is Anna Willis, and I am a land planner with Kimberly Horn. I have a lot of information to go through, but we'll just start off with, I think I messed it up. All right, there we go. So we're going to go through where we're at in the process, some section updates, the project schedule, and then what our upcoming meetings will look like. This FAQ sheet has been around quite a lot, but this is just a reminder of the primary goals of this update. So we want to implement the recommendations of the 2040 Comprehensive Plan, combine the regulatory documents into one, update development and design standards, incorporate new districts, and create a graphic-rich, user-friendly policy. Now, as I mentioned, we are using this update to tie it back to the comprehensive plan. So we're being sure that everything, the main goals and objectives in the comp plan are tying into these development regulations, including some updates to the zoning districts. And we'll start with the zoning districts. On the left, you'll see how the current code looks. You have the agricultural residential district, for example, and all the regulations follow in Word format. And on the right, we're proposing for every zoning district to have a table with everything, including density, setbacks, and lot requirements, as well as any additional standards. So you'll be able to find everything in one condensed table.
I love it.
I'm going to take you through the proposed potential new districts, and as you'll see, currently we have 3 agricultural or residential districts. Predominantly, the agricultural residential district is the majority of the county. You also have the resort residential and then the residential mobile home park. And we are proposing the creation of 5 new paper districts. So these districts would not be mapped with everything that's going on at the state level. We can't really create new mapped districts, but we can create paper districts. So these will include the agricultural estate, the estate residential, residential neighborhood, traditional neighborhood, and also an agricultural district. So I have a little breakdown of what the densities of these would look like, and then I'll take you through each proposed district and how they tie into the comp plan as well. Actually, first, so the agricultural residential district, what we have done with this one, with the update, we're proposing to consolidate the permitted uses into one table, broken out by use categories, creating a general use standard section for all the uses in the permitted use table. And we also did an update to the intent statement based on the existing information in the code and the land use plan. We carried over the existing densities, the lot area, but we just condensed and clarified the building setbacks and created an established maximum building height and maximum lot coverage standard. For the resort residential, a lot of the same. We consolidated the permitted uses into one table, broken out by use category, created a general use standard section for all the uses, and then again, carried over a lot of the same standards into this new update. So nothing has really changed with this other than formatting. And again, with the residential mobile home park, the current standards today will stay, just got a facelift as to the table. So for the new districts that we're proposing, we have the agricultural district, which would reflect the rural character areas identified in the land use plan. And it's intended to remain low density and agricultural focused while also controlling residential growth, which aligns with the goal of managing growth in a way to avoid sprawl. And this district would also limit commercial uses and place an emphasis on context-sensitive development that supports rural communities without overwhelming those communities. The agricultural estate district would be a transitional district between commercial and agricultural areas. So this would allow for moderate density development that bridges fully rural agricultural zones and suburban or urban areas. It would also permit a combination of residential and agricultural development while also allowing development without mandatory public water and sewer if specific conditions are met. Now, in the land use plan, rural and transitional areas where urban level infrastructure is not expected, it would promote cost-effective and sustainable development. So the estate residential would be focused on large lot residential development, allowing for low density, large lot housing. It would also permit development to occur without public water and sewer if certain conditions are met. The land use plan encourages development that is compliant with existing service levels, supports cost-effective growth, and avoids the overextension of utilities. Then the residential neighborhood would focus on suburban character and housing diversity, transitional development, and then amenities and connectivity. So this would promote sidewalks, street trees, parks, trails, and open space connectivity. And lastly, the traditional neighborhood. This would integrate with existing mixed-use areas, so it would encourage development around existing residential, commercial, and institutional uses that are compatible in scale and character. It would also permit limited commercial uses that serve daily residential needs and discourage uses that would be detrimental to the residential nature of this district. So next, we have the commercial and industrial zoning districts. We are maintaining the 6 that are currently in the code, but we are proposing a rural crossroads district. To go into you can see the densities on this slide as well. So for rural crossroads, it would be proposed to be 4 units an acre. Everything else is staying consistent to the code today. So the connection between why we're proposing the rural crossroads to the comp plan is that this would reflect a mixed-use center character. Vertical and horizontal mix of uses could be permitted in this zoning district, but it would be location specific. So it would be where it would be mixed use would be most appropriate in major corridors, especially in the rural nodes, transitioning to the more urbanized uses.
Could I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Explain vertical and horizontal mix of uses.
So over like 2-story, 3-story buildings.
You mean literal?
Huh?
Literal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I understand that.
The intent of this district is to implement the regional mixed-use center character area. And this would intend to permit concentrations of retail, employment, services, and residential uses through a mixed-use development. Again, allow for the vertical and horizontal mix of uses, allow for development of out-parcel buildings to meet frontage requirements, and also provide for master planning approach. And we have included a table of what this, the density might look like, setbacks, and frontage for this district. Plan developments. So the purpose of the creation of plan developments is intended to provide a uniform means for amending the zoning map to establish a plan development district. These districts provide an orderly master plan style development with a mix of land uses and intensifies for master plan commercial and residential. They're developed under unified control in accordance with flexibility for innovative design and procedures, and they allow for the creation of customized just development standards as a whole. We are proposing residential plan development standards as well as non-residential plan development standards. We have two tables which, again, lay out the proposed density, lots, open space requirements, everything of that nature. And then we included some information as far as what the application requirements would be to get a plan development approved, as well as the process. So we're proposing a neighborhood meeting prior to submitting, and then it would go to staff review, and then planning board and county council to you guys. And then administrative changes. The director could be able to approve minor modifications, but for major modifications, it would have to go through the approval process. And then subdivision standards. I know also at the beginning, you all received the PD standard drafts a couple months back, as well as the subdivision standards. At this point, we are still working through the subdivision standards with our engineers. We know there's a lot of cross with the stormwater and everything that's being updated at this point too. So we are still actively working very hard through this section. By the next time we're in front of you, those should be buffed out pretty well. And to there, we'll go into dimensional requirements. This section is very graphic heavy, so you'll be able to look and see what building height illustrations look like, what a floor area ratio would be, what does a corner lot even mean. These are some examples of the graphics that are going to be in the new code, including the interior lots, corner lots, how to measure, all the fun stuff with that.
These are so helpful to have at the public comment. I felt like for people to really grasp what it meant to just say that, the amount of units per acre, to actually be able to visually see it. So I love
makes all the
that we're
difference.
including that in our, thank you.
Yes. And then from there, we have been updating the permitted use table the best that we can, given the state and all that's going on there with Senate Bill 382 and everything else. So right now, we cannot remove any uses because that can create potential nonconformities, but we have cleaned it up and condensed it and ensured it's consistent with state law. We have broken them up into individual sections, including, so if you have an agricultural use, you just go to the agricultural section and all the uses and where they're permitted will be in that table, instead of having a whole list of uses just straight away and having to figure it out. So it'll all be split up and consistent there. And then landscape and buffer. We currently, the code permits buffers A through C. We are proposing a buffer D, and we have adjusted minimally the A through C requirements. If anything, they've gone up a little and down a little. It's a little bit of 2 for 1, 1 for 2. I have all of those laid out on my notes too, if we want to discuss those afterwards. But we are still discussing the agricultural buffers. I know that's a huge topic of conversation, and I'm excited to talk through that too with you guys, I'm sure, after this presentation's up. Get your feedback on that too a little further, and we'll go from there. These are some graphics that will be included in the code update as well. So you'll see buffers A through D and just what those exactly mean. So what would a buffer A look like? And everything will be laid out there too. So there's a 10-foot width, what the cross sections and all of that. And then accessory dwelling units.
Sorry. With the landscape buffers, is there going to be a list of like preferred species?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
we'll have preferred and then also prohibited, I'm pretty sure we have.
Perfect.
So we have
Okay.
a good list of everything that's state.
Very good.
Local too.
Very good. Thank you.
Yes. And then accessory dwelling units. So we updated this to ensure it's in conformance with the state. Also created a table so whoever wants to build an ADU can see all of their requirements just right there. And then, so the next steps, we are looking, I know Braston currently has chapter B. So we split it up into 3 chapters, A, B, C, D, and E. He has a compiled version of B. C will be coming to him next. And we're expecting the full draft A through E to be in his hands by mid-September. He'll provide comments, and then hopefully we can get through the comments, address them, and then have them to y'all and the focus group members and stakeholder, whoever, I guess, for the public, to review by mid-October with an anticipated approval of December. And then for that, any questions for me?
Any questions? Yes, sir.
I have a comment, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Willis made reference to the what the proposed granularity and AR classification would be. Ideally, we're going to have to do it on paper right now because of things that are going on in the North Carolina General Assembly.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened there is 2 years ago, in the omnibus budget bill that was hundreds of pages, I think it was over 700 pages, on the very last page, buried in about the third paragraph, was a very benign, what thought would be a sentence that says that no county shall be allowed to do any down zoning anywhere in the state. And basically that precludes counties from making land use decisions that are in the best, they deem being the best interest of their citizens. And these are the commissioners that are elected by the people, that are closest to the people, and understand what are the best requirements, or best needs in their own counties. Now, this session, our Senator Sawry and Senator Lazara introduced a bill in the Senate, Senate Bill 587, says clarifying non-conforming uses. It's an act to clarify nonconformities in land development regulations. And most of what they were looking at, things just need to be cleaned up, but they put a provision in there specifically that restored the county's authority to effect downzoning decisions when they deem it in the best interest of their citizens. This was passed unanimously in the Senate, and it was sent to the House, and the House promptly referred it to the Rules Committee, where it has sat since. And I've worked at the General Assembly long enough in my 35-year career in state government to know that rules is where you send things to die. They only get pulled out under unusual circumstances. And that bill is still sitting in rules. The session has not fully adjourned yet, and they're planning on coming back 1 or 2 times to pass many budget bills, because apparently they could not come to consensus with the Senate and the House consensus on a overall budget. But that bill is still hanging out there. As long as it's in committee, it can be pulled out and acted upon in the House. John Bell, Representative John Bell, who used to represent part of Johnston County, but now represents his solely in Wayne County, he chairs that committee. And he would have the power or the authority to release that bill, but it's governed basically by what the leadership tells him. And there's a lot of people out there that didn't want to see this happen. But we've got to be, every county is going to have to get behind this and get that authority restored or to have any meaningful control in our future with land development in this county and other 99 counties. Because that's where your budget challenges come from. If you've got uncontrolled development, or you've got others dictating your development, like the development community wanted to do with this provision, then it puts in, and they had in their other bill, the companion bill was House Bill 765, which was going to require counties to allow high density everywhere in the state, up to 6 units per acre, and also a duty to serve with water and sewer by the local government, regardless of whether they had the capacity or not. They had a duty to find a way to serve it. In my opinion, that would bankrupt a lot of counties. And that is eroding local self-rule local governments. It's a very bad precedent to set. But that's why we can't do that now. We've got, this bill was going to be corrected by what the Senate passed unanimously, but it's been held up in the House in the Rules Committee. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Wherever a raindrop falls now in Johnston County, it falls in a zoned area, right? We don't have a void. How do we overlay these new zones?
So the process, it would have to be an applicant would come to get rezoned to these new districts. So we can't map these. It is solely based on.
That's what you've been meant by paper.
Yeah.
Yes.
So solely based on applicants.
All right, any other questions?
Just a comment, this is a huge project, and it appears that it is on schedule, and I know that I have heard some people, you know, a little upset at how long it takes, but it is a huge thing, and from best I can understand, it is on the schedule that has been presented all along, so I applaud you for your work, and it's not being delayed or anything, it's just being gone through very thoroughly, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. The planning staff here has been awesome to work
All the
with.
pictures are just, I know it took a lot of time just to do, I mean, just the dimensional requirements that was shown, you know, it's just, that's very detailed oriented, but it just is so much better on being able to see the process, and I feel like it's going to make it easier for an applicant, no matter if it's one for a subdivision or a person wanting to do a new construction home on a private, you know, just a one that person wants to build next to their parents. I feel like this is going to help no matter the applicant of the size of the lot and everything, and just the amount of work and the detail that has gone into plan is really amazing. So thank y'all for all your hard work. I know it was a lot also doing 7 public information sessions. I know that was a lot and typically unheard of. And so just thank y'all again for also doing all the information sessions throughout the county back in June.
Yeah, of course.
So thank y'all again for that.
Well, to echo what Commissioner Davis said, I just appreciate y'all listening to every opinion, whether it's from constituents or from us. I know I'm, for one, very excited about all the different changes, the things that are going to make it easier when business are going to apply to get rezoning, based on the type of business. It just feels like we've regained some control to make sure that things truly are going where they're supposed to be going, so it's the benefit of all the citizens and not just something going here because it may possibly be able to fit there. It feels a lot more strategic, and I really appreciate you guys just really listening, even for hours sometimes, and us getting in the weeds of the things that we felt like are important. And I know I have more questions, but it's a lot to digest, so thank you.
Of course.
The consistency, I think, gets back out
100%.
Just being able to, and the ease of access, like I said, I think it'll also make it easier with planning staff of their day-to-day as well, so thank you.
Yeah.
Sherman, I did have one question. Ms. Willis, you had mentioned about the agricultural buffer that we have. I hear that frequently a lot, that's really important. And you had alluded, you might mention more about that.
Yes. Yeah, so I know that during our stakeholder meetings, during our biweekly meetings that we have with the planning team, every conversation that we've had with you all, the agricultural buffers are a very important topic. And at this point, we've been doing a lot of research. So the main point would be to provide a greater buffer between agricultural land, farmland, and any new development that might come. So we have looked at anything from a 50-foot agricultural buffer up to 500. We've looked at a bunch of different ideas, and we're still trying to figure out what best aligns and what would make the most sense. And that's kind of where we're at right now with it.
All right, thank you.
And I did have, and I don't know, question for you, but maybe directed to our council. We often hear, particularly at the planning board level, because the cases never make it to us, about we can't consider school capacity, water capacity,
Roads.
sewer capacity, roads. So is this new ordinance the place we can address that, to change that, along with some of the?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Come on, yeah, come on.
Thank you. Adam assures me it's not just me, it's the system. But yes, we can, and the reason that the planning board is so limited right now is that the planning board is considering the standards that are set forth in the ordinance, and we do not have standards in the ordinance that relate to those specific issues. We have standards in the ordinance about access and circulation, but we don't have any standards in the ordinance related to those other types of things. And so those are the types of things that should be considered as we're putting the meat on the bone with the ordinance in what is important and the standards that should be considered when something comes for approval. And limited public resources are certainly one of those things, meaning the water and sewer capacity. If you recall, in the rezoning section of the ordinance, that is something legislatively that you've been able to consider. But keep in mind, in the process that we have today, right now, subdivision review is quasi-judicial. And so it's very dependent upon the standards within the ordinance. And part of this process, the reason that we didn't push forward with changes, in the ordinance previously, is because we wanted the land use plan completed, so we would know what those standards should be and what they should look like. But that is certainly something that could and should be addressed in the standards in the ordinance.
Okay, and I know as we sit here today and we look at subdivisions that are coming through, and I think this board has communicated, and I think the public understands that the water from the Neuse is a very limited resource, and so as we see that being approved and the corresponding water use that goes with that, and we have no mechanism to consider water and sewer as I think this is an appropriate place to put it, and much needed as we move forward and trying to do the best that we can for Johnston County.
And as the board has instructed, and as we talked about at some previous meetings when we were talking about water and sewer capacity and the finite limitations in the water resource, we're also looking at standards in our policies and those sorts of things to make additional options available for folks regarding mandatory connect, those sorts of things, to perhaps loosen that up a little bit, so wells are an option.
That was my next note.
So we are,
wells.
we are working on that, and I think that was mentioned a little bit in the presentation. So we're looking at everything because certainly land development encompasses everything from the planning department to environmental health to the building inspections. We're looking at it all to make sure that it is all consistent and that it's meeting the expectations of the board. And that is what we really want, is to deliver you a product that meets your expectation. And that's what this team has been working so hard to do.
Any other questions, comments? All right, nothing left to do but finish now.
Thank you.
Mr. Newton.
Chairman, I'm sorry. Just one thing, I just wanted to expand upon your original question to our council, is what we're attempting to do with regard to subdivisions and those services is put a quantifiable threshold into the ordinance. Without that, what we're hedging our bets on today is purpose and intent, which, as council will tell you, is extremely difficult to defend in court if it's challenged. So therefore, if we put a quantifiable thresholds in this ordinance with regard to those services, and very distinctly, this gives the ability of that review body to be able to hold the development community accountable when they propose a development.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you, Ms. Willis.
Thank you.
And Ms. Schwartzkopf, thank you. All right. Now, I've lost my piece of paper, and I'll look up there. Manager report and comments.
No report, sir.
All right, thank you. Board reports and comments. Vice Chairman Harris, I'll start with you.
Thank you. Threw me off there a little bit.
Well, good. Here, I'll take your paper. Throw you off some more.
Mr. Chairman, one of the things that really did stand out is had the opportunity, along with other fellow commissioners, to go to the ribbon cutting ceremony at Swift Creek Elementary School yesterday. And, you know, I was just walking around looking at the school, and it was really a packed house of excited parents and excited children and all that stuff. And I thought, you know, this is what's important. You know, we do a lot of things, but what's really important is what affects the community, what affects the people, what makes their life better. And the education that those children will receive there, it really is humbling to think of how many generations of children will walk through those doors in years to come. And so, you know, that coupled with the fact that we've got a leading community college here in the county, and I'm proud of the commissioner's promise. You know, educating our children as a whole in this county is a high priority. And I think this board, and I think all of our partners have shown, and including the folks at the Board of Education, have all put forth their best effort to provide as good opportunities for our children as we possibly can. And I think it was so important. That was a humbling experience yesterday. I was really excited to see. And you never know how those things will be attended, but it was absolutely packed in there, and it was a great showing for the people. And so I'm just really proud of the county for being able to move in that direction. So thank you.
All right. Commissioner Rhodes.
I don't have anything.
Commissioner Stevens.
Yeah, I just wanted to applaud again our DSS services and just our employees throughout the county. Like I said, I've had to utilize a lot of our resources in the past month or so, and it's just awesome to come in here and every time give a compliment to the staff, everybody in our departments. You know, it wasn't just walking in today to DSS. They had no idea who I was, but I called last week, and as soon as I called, because I had questions, somebody answered the phone. They were very polite. They were very courteous, and they're like, "Darling, just come in and we'll walk you through it." And that was just so wonderful to feel and receive when you're in a place where you just don't know where to turn in those situations. And so, like I said, I'm just very, very grateful for all of our county employees again. And then also I was able to meet this month with our nursing home and adult care council, and that was also really humbling to sit in a room of volunteers who spend their time every month to go out and just make sure that all of our adult care facilities are up to par and they're doing what they're supposed to do. And so it was great to hear a lot of the good feedback, things that, you know, some of our adult care places could be working on and this, that, and the other. But overwhelming, I felt like from everybody in the room, first of all, grateful for the volunteers, but secondly, everybody had pretty positive things to say. So again, just more kudos for Johnston County and where we live and the people that work here. So.
All right. Thank you. Commissioner Davis.
I would just again like to echo the ribbon cutting yesterday at Swift Creek. It was a beautiful school, beautiful campus. Just to be able to see all the new and improved features, because Thanksgiving Elementary didn't open that long ago, but just to be able to compare that school to this school is just amazing. The design, it was great to see 2 stories and being able to utilize the land by going up. I know we've heard that several times from constituents, so that was great. And then today at lunch, I had the opportunity to attend the Partnership for Children for their fundraiser this morning for lunch, and always great to hear all the great things that they're doing to impact the families for Johnston County.
All right, Commissioner Stovall.
Mr. Chairman, I know we heard a number of months ago from our utility staff that the water capacity that we control directly is fully allocated out of building permits, and everything that we do beyond that point until we develop more capacity or acquire more capacity that we control directly is coming from borrowed capacity that we're buying from other jurisdictions. That concerns me because I was looking at the planning board agenda, I think, for tomorrow night. I think they've got 5 subdivisions on there and about 242 lots. Now, if you calculate, if they all need water, you're looking at over 60,000 gallons per day that has to be allocated based upon 3.5 bedrooms at, I think, 320 gallons per bedroom. But I saw the metric, and I said, well, that's going to have to be water that we don't have capacity, that's going to be borrowed capacity allocated to that. But it seems, like I say, the planning board don't have any force of rules or regulation that allows them to consider such things as utility capacity. And we're looking to try to get those in place. But in the meantime, we are digging our hole deeper by continuing to approve development that requires water and sewer services until we can get something resolved on it. So I just want to say that I am on the record as being opposed to assigning borrowing capacity to building permits. I think that is a questionable business practice, and that we need to try to avoid doing that if at all possible until we can get guaranteed capacity in our hands. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Two things, Mr. Chairman. Earlier tonight, we recognized Josh Holloman, Sandy Wood, and Brenda Allen for holding positions in the statewide organization of their respective duties. And the other day, I was left at a restaurant early morning. I listened to a radio station, a country station sometimes morning out of Rocky Mountain. And they have different guests on there. And that morning, they had a commissioner from that county. And he was talking about, they just had a session with our representative from our fire commission, Ryan Parker, and other members, the transition that we've just been through. And he was very complimentary of Johnston County, and he named Johnston County. Being able to pass on the expertise that's been developed here. Commissioner Harris serves on that fire commission, I believe, and we're making strides everywhere, it seems. The other thing I wanted to mention was Saturday morning, they had a 25th anniversary of the Special Operations Airborne Museum in Fayetteville, near Fort Bragg, and also the 85th anniversary of the birthday of the Airborne. And our own Colonel Rudy Baker was recognized down there as a founding member of that museum. And I rode down with Colonel Baker on Saturday, and it was just a joy to be with him, and I was proud to be with him, proud to be associated with him. When a four-star general walks up to him and says, "Hello, Rudy, how are you?" Kudos to Rudy Baker.
Mm-hmm. Kudos. I had a couple things. First, to build on the fire services, there was Commissioner Harris and myself attended. I was the least valuable there. We had our manager and an attorney was there, Jordan Piper, and two of our chiefs, Barry Stanley and Chris Ellington, were there, and to tell our story from where we had started, 3-4 years ago with our single fire tax district and what we hope to accomplish with that. Very well received. I think that both the commissioners and the fire chiefs came away with a little bit different perspective on that. And Commissioner Harris and myself get to talk about it again on Friday at the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners Conference, where we also get to see Ms. Henderson again at the Youth Voice. So most of us will be able to be there at this weekend, or this end of this weekend. Again, the Swift Creek Elementary School was very well attended. A lot of enthusiasm and excitement there as the school year opens in a new school. And finally, the most important to my family, as I tend to do, I like to talk about my grandson's birthday, but this is grandson number 8, the baby. He turned 1 last week, so Nash, Carol, happy belated birthday from Bobby B. So with that, we do have a need to go into closed session. There will not be any action taken at the end of that, so I will entertain a motion to go into closed session.
Mr. Chair, I move the board go into closed session for the following purposes. 1, to consult an attorney employed by the board in order to preserve attorney-client privilege pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A3. 2, for the purpose of discussing matters relating to the location or expansion of industry or other businesses in the area pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A4. And 3, to establish or instruct staff concerning the negotiation of the price and terms of a contract concerning the acquisition of real property pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A5.
Second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. We will go into closed session after a few minutes, clear the room.